Have I too, it's Abla. Today I want to talk about my daily spiritual practices for a strong, calm mind, heart, body, of course, your spirit, right? So, my daily spiritual practice is nothing. Nothing is what keeps myself and my family so strong because we don't need to rely on any tools, so to speak. Our conviction is enough. So, because we are so devoted to this conviction, because we were willing to answer the call, the highest I makes us capable to walk the walk. We do not need to rely on any pacifier, so to speak, such as certain things that are very popular, like yoga, tai chi, guided meditations. There's so many guided meditation apps on this device. Um, Different things like that. Things that are tools are useful, but they can be pacifiers because we must be able to function without those tools. We must be able to function without things. We must be able to function with just nothing, with just our conviction. Our conviction and our devotion to that conviction must be enough for us, because there will come a time, and there has been times in history where we learn about, in Babylon school, they tell us about during chattel slavery when persons would actually ship themselves out of the north into the south in a box, in a wooden box. Imagine squeezing yourself into a box to be shipped out of slavery. You can't do, you have nothing but your conviction in that moment. You have nothing but your devotion to that conviction, and that's enough. You can't stretch your arms out wide. You're not in a green area. Sometimes we're in a city. Sometimes we are perceivably in concrete boxes, homes, houses, so to speak, that are not homes. But our conviction is so strong that we have heaven in our minds, and we're able to be joyful and blissful still without those tools. So, like I said, these things are useful, but they must not be needed. They must not be, the cows are coming. These tools are useful, but we must be able to function with nothing. We need to focus on the zero. We need to focus on our conviction for the truth. That needs to be enough. If you're those persons we learn about historically in chattel slavery that would ship themselves in a box, their conviction was so strong they could be in a box, a literal box. A literal box. There may come a day, even because obviously the world has ended, where we are 100 feet underground with no green area, no sunlight even. People talk about sun gazing and things like that. No sunlight. And we must still be blissful and joyful because our conviction must be enough. Our conviction must be all that we need. We need to focus on the zero, the nothing. We can't always focus on the something. Everything that we see, everything that's physical, everything that's something comes out of the nothing. Everything must start spiritually to manifest physically. So our spiritual strength must come from the nothing. It can't come from the something. That doesn't make sense. You can't start with the one. Our walk that we are walking, the cross that we are bearing, it cannot be focused on the one, like the something, like the tools, the pacifiers, like I just said, guided meditations, journaling, even, like things, the tools that we've learned from the world, things that are worldly, things that are not actually a part of reality. They're tools, and they're just, we need to be able to function without them. What will happen if you cannot do your daily yoga? What can happen if you're not in a green area? Will you lose your faith? Just because you're not in a green area, that means your faith was never really there. because like I said, heaven is in our minds. So yeah, my daily spiritual practice is nothing. And that's what keeps me strong. Focusing on the zero keeps me strong. Hi, Bitcoin. So yes, I want to talk about that today, and I hope that's a reminder to everyone to not be so hung up on the something. If you're nothing, if you're not satisfied with the nothing, because there may come a time, that time is coming, where we won't have all of these tools, and to be honest, we don't need them, because all we need is nothing. And that must be enough. Our conviction and our devotion to the truth must be enough. Even if I cannot stretch my hands, my arms out wide and breathe this air and have the sunlight, my conviction is enough. It's enough. And it must be enough, because in reality, it is enough. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. I'm not giving my opinion that it is enough. It's a fact that it is enough. Nothing, like they always say, it's everything. So yeah, I want to remind us all of that today. Even remind myself as a female, we can be swayed, blow with the wind sometimes. Our emotions can get the best of us, and we need to stay strong in our conviction and our devotion to be an example for our families, to be an example of lightness and joyfulness for our sisters, our husbands, our children, our communities. Be an example that nothing is everything to us. The truth is everything to keep us light. Our light comes from knowing that we do not need anything but to walk in the truth. So yeah, that's my reminder for the day to myself and all of my mirrors. So to myself. And I hope that everyone has a blissful day, and this is understood. Like I said, those tools are useful, but they can become pacifiers. Let's not let them become pacifiers, so that when that pacifier is taken out, the child starts crying, starts screaming, doesn't know how to function. That's not what we want. We want to be satisfied by our conviction and our devotion to that conviction. Like I said, we are willing and able. Because you're willing, you are made able, right? So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Pardon myself, I got a little bit distracted by the buffalo. Ishi, Kara hila kwa kinova,